What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Alexas. We are returning with the championship score predictions. It's been a little bit of a break on the channel, I do apologise. I've managed to find time to study and also to have some good social well-being times as well. So we are back officially making videos predicting the championship, and I'm telling you, this period right here is going to be very telling of how the clubs are going to perform, because not only are we straight back into football from the international break, but officially starting Tuesday next week is when the midweek games are going to start coming back as well, and you'll see me do a video for that very soon as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the teams are going to cope with the mammoth amount of games that we're going to have in the next 5 or 6 weeks or so. If you guys enjoy the content, please smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so. It really does help the growth of this channel too. And please also share the channel too. All three of these things really do help. The like target is 50 likes. I think you guys can absolutely smash it. Please do all of that, because all of it really does help the support of the channel. If you guys want to get involved within the prediction league, all you've got to do is enter your score predictions in the comments down below, and I actively encourage you just to get involved for a little bit of fun to predict all of the championship games. Also, I'll be predicting the Premier League games, and you can see them on the left hand side of the screen right now. For the Premier League, of course, I'm not doing a prediction league, but this is something just for a little bit of fun, and typically in my description I shout out the person with the most correct score predictions of that previous week. So whoever I've mentioned in my description today, congratulations, you've got the most Premier League and the Championship Prediction League points. But without any further ado, let's now go and dive into the next batch of championship games. Let's start off with Friday night's games. We've got 2 Friday night games to consider this time. So tomorrow we're going to see Hull versus Coventry. I'm intrigued with this game. Hull, I think, have started quite well within this season. Attacking wise, I'm seeing a lot of positives. I think it's a very young team at this moment of time, and that can definitely work in one or two ways. It can work well into some really clutch moments, but it can also work against them as well. Hull picked up a fantastic win over Leicester, being the only team so far this season to beat Leicester in the Championship. Coventry, I think, again, have started alright, but I definitely think on their standards, and especially their high standards, the fact they managed to finish from last season, it definitely has not been as smooth as they probably would like it to. But you remember, Coventry, are right down there in the Championship table, within October, and they've got the capability to go on these good momentous runs, and Coventry could definitely do that. And I think Coventry at this moment of time, they're just currently going through a bit of an identity crisis on their front line. There still is just missing that final pass within the passage of play with Haji Rai working with Gordon, something like that. So I definitely think in time, whilst the front line clicks, I think we'll see Coventry perform a lot more consistently better. As a prediction here, I see Hull offering a really big test for this Coventry side. I think they look a little bit more balanced, but Coventry have performed relatively well in majority of their games this season. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm not going to age either team. Let me know what you think of that within the comments down below. Next game to predict is Southampton versus Leicester. I am really looking forward to this game. In terms of performances, I think both teams have got some strengths and vulnerabilities within their sides for what we saw in the opening 5 games from both of them. Southampton, it's definitely their back line. Going forward, they look to be one of the best already within the Championship. A great understanding of that front line, and especially with how this squad has just been changed, within every week as the transfer window went by. This is a crucial time for Southampton to try and get that momentum, because we know that this squad, at least until January, is going to be sticking around unless, players get injuries or some players go on a strike and stuff like that. With Leicester, they have managed to pick up 4 wins out of 5 so far, but they've not really been wins where we would dare to expect from Leicester. Maybe we're a little bit guilty overestimating or just even expecting bigger things for Leicester, because they are going through a big transitional change with Enzo Maresca entering into that club. They've been able to get the job done previously, but against this Southampton side, who can score many goals, and I think have done so at a much better rate than what Leicester have done so far. God, this is so tricky to predict. And honestly, I don't think either team is going to keep a clean sheet. I think we will get goals from both sides. But I've got a sneaky feeling that Southampton might sneak something here with that added attacking quality. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Southampton. Might be considered a bit of a shock, but I'm also considering that I think for these score predictions, especially in the Championship, you have got to sometimes throw a couple of shocks within there, and I think Southampton will be a good pick for that. And I think they'll be well up for this game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now we go to Saturday's games. Let's start off with Blackburn versus Middlesbrough. Blackburn have had a bit of an up and down start so far this season, with a couple of really good clutch performances, especially in their home games. I think West Brom, their opening game, was their best performance so far in the season. And Blackburn have done a really good job actually of winning points from losing positions. But their last game against Plymouth, whilst the scoreline was really damning, like a 3-0 defeat to Plymouth, it was a little bit harsh on them, I felt, because they did have great chances within that game. They just weren't clinical on the day. Middlesbrough defensively look all over the place, and what I hope for Middlesbrough during this international break, that Michael Carrick has been able to work on their organisation at the back. I do think Middlesbrough going forward, a bit similar to Coventry, have glimpses of good quality, but it's just missing that final ball or just that final bit of composure to convert those chances into goals. Because I do think Middlesbrough have actually created, but they've just not reaped the rewards from that chance creation there, and ultimately have just been way too open at the back, which has really cost them. You know, Middlesbrough so far, they're one of 3 teams still looking for their first win of the season, bottom of the Championship currently. It's not looking good, and unfortunately here, I think Blackburn actually could potentially turn up in this game. I think the way that Blackburn like to play. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Blackburn. I think with the way that they play, I think it could really hurt Middlesbrough. And I do think Middlesbrough just need a little bit more of a winnable game just to bump that confidence up. So 3-1 Blackburn's what I'm going for. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Bristol City versus West Brom. So Bristol City has started relatively well so far this season, but they've especially done well away from home. They've won both of their away games, but they've actually only picked up 1 point from home so far this season, which surprises me in a way that Bristol City have not really been able to get more success within their home form compared to their away form, where they've got a 100% record. West Brom, again, like Bristol City, have been a little bit inconsistent with their form at the moment. I think Bristol City especially have actually got a little bit more going about them at the moment. It feels to be a little bit more of a positive trajectory and direction with this Bristol City side as of late. West Brom kind of look a bit all over the place at the moment. They can turn up a 9 out of 10 and then all of a sudden go to a 4 out of 10 within a matter of days. So depending what version of West Brom we're going to get, I think will really determine the outcome of this game. But as a prediction here, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Bristol City not being particularly well at home. West Brom, I could easily see them squeezing a point. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game, which could be a crucial game, Huddersfield versus Rotherham. And I really am excited for this one because it will be 2 teams that I think most of us will expect to be around the bottom 5 within the Championship, you know, come not only at this game week, but potentially, you know, near the final game week as well. Huddersfield and both Rotherham had picked up their first win of the season before the international break. Both picking up great wins and unexpected wins for them as well, with Huddersfield beating West Brom and you saw Rotherham beating Norwich City. So both actually winning very well, both by 2-1 scorelines in the end. I think the thing I'm a bit worried about with Huddersfield is that they're not looking like that they're creating a lot from open play as it stands. It's looking like at the moment that they're going to have to try and create chances from dead ball situations or one chance that takes from a lucky deflection and stuff. Rotherham, I think, have had a lot more promise going forward. It's just really been their defence that has really let them down. This is really tough, you know, because Rotherham's away record is not really good. Huddersfield, though, have not really started this season well at all. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I thought I was going to be brave, but no, I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. And I can easily see that, actually. I think both teams have the capability of cancelling each other out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Norwich versus Stoke. So Norwich, I think we've already repeated how impressed we are with their attacking play. But I do think it's going to be a little bit hindered with Sargent being out as long as he's going to be out from that injury he picked out quite recently. And what we saw against this Rotherham side is a Norwich side that just took way too long to get settled when they had to try and chase down a Rotherham side that were already 2 goals up against them. And it goes to show that Norwich aren't quite as invincible as they look. They definitely can get exposed defensively at this moment. I don't see their back line containing a lot of pace, and I do think that could cause trouble if you've got a very pacey front line. And for Stoke, I especially see someone like Vidigal causing that Norwich back line some problems. But my issue with Stoke, to be honest, I just don't really see anyone else in that squad, especially in that forward line, looking that menacing, to be brutally honest. You know, thinking back to when I saw them live against Ipswich, they were practically creating chances almost out of him by himself, and he really can't become a one-man team. It needs to be a team effort. And again, a lot of opportunities from dead ball situations, and I do think Stoke have got the squad to really play out from the back and actually really attack teams. So it's a shame that it's not quite working for them at this moment of time. I think it's going to take a bit of time for Alex Neil to get things right within this Stoke project. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Norwich. I think they might just squeak a win, but I don't think it'll be convincing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next up, we got Preston going up against Plymouth Argyle. I'm really excited for this because it's Ryan Lowe returning against his former club. I think that's going to be a really intense game, and it's going to be interesting to see how Plymouth play, try to outperform their former manager here. Preston currently top of the championship, which still feels crazy for me to say, but they are the only team, I think, alongside with Birmingham, still to lose a game in the championship, which is incredible. I think they have been dealt a blow with international duty because Will Keane did pick up an injury whilst he was away on international duty. So depending on how long he's out, it can definitely be difficult for Preston to find a ball in the back of the net. And it was already a little issue enough that they weren't scoring too many goals when they were winning. But one positive has been their back line. But Plymouth, I think, will make it tricky. Plymouth have actually been a team that have been quite versatile in the way that they play. They can sit 10 men behind the back of the ball and get a draw like they did against Watford. They could hit teams with devastating pace on the counter-attack. They did that with their defeat against Southampton, but also their win against Blackburn. This is really tough to predict, you know, and I really do think the added rivalry that these two clubs are kind of created because of Ryan Lowe, I think it will make things interesting. I don't see a load of goals. I'm thinking one team will win 1-0, thinking that they've won 1-0, but one team will get a late equaliser, and I see that happening. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game. If it really does end up being a last-minute equaliser that settles this game, I would be absolutely off my head, because that would be unbelievable drama within this game. Let me know what you think of that within the comments down below. Next game to predict is QPR versus Sunderland. I think this one is an intriguing matchup again. QPR, I think, have definitely started better than most people have predicted. I think, well, it's not surprising, however, they are still in or around that bottom 7-8 of the table, but they definitely, going forward-wise, look a little bit more up for it that they have done within most of last season. Sunderland look like that they're getting their stride on now. After their incredible win against Rotherham, they managed to follow that, completely destroying Southampton. And I mean completely destroying Southampton, not only with performance, but with scoreline as well. Now, can Sunderland keep this going here? If they can get a good result here, I do think Sunderland are due a good amount of positive momentum, and they are definitely playing like a team with a lot of confidence at this moment in time. Therefore, as a prediction, I'm going to struggle to see QPR get anything out of this, sadly. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. I'll give QPR a little bit of respect. I do think they will make it very close, but I do think it will be Sunderland with the win. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Sheffield Wednesday versus Ipswich. So both games between these two clubs last year ended in 2-2 draws. I don't think, however, it's going to be that high goal scoring this time. I think that at the time was two teams high in League One and both scoring an abundance amount of goals and showing loads of confidence. You've got a Sheffield Wednesday team who they've only got 1 point on the board. Not really the most confident side in the whole league right now. Ipswich definitely not as confident as they have been within the first couple of games or so, especially with that 4-3 defeat against Leeds. I think that really gave them a really harsh lesson of where they're at with the Championship currently. With this game, I see it being very quiet. I do think Sheffield Wednesday will frustrate Ipswich, and I can even see Sheffield Wednesday nicking a point here because I do think they're capable of doing so. But I'm going to slightly, only slightly, edge Ipswich for a narrow 1-0 away win. I think it will be a bit similar to the QPR win based on performance. But I think it's going to be very, very tight. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Watford versus Birmingham. This is going to be intriguing. So Watford have started the season a little bit inconsistently at this moment of time. They started off very well, of course, with their win against QPR. But since then, they've actually struggled to find the ball in the back of the net, shockingly enough. It's like they scored all their goals within the first 2 months within that one game against QPR. And now they're struggling to really, really retain that same confidence until they managed to get that 3-3 draw against Coventry. Against Birmingham here, who are still unbeaten in the league, I think Birmingham have found a way to not only defend well, but to build up their attacking football. And I do think Birmingham, based on how well they've started this season, I think they can back themselves to get something in this game. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-0 away victory to Birmingham. I think they're going to continue to surprise people, including me. And I think with this win, and if all results do happen, they will be top of the Championship. Absolutely crazy. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Now we go to the South Wales Derby happening Saturday evening, Cardiff versus Swansea. Both teams have not really started very, very well at all. I've got to be brutally honest, especially Swansea. They're one of the 3 teams, like I mentioned with Middlesbrough, still looking for their first win of the season. Cardiff have looked a little bit more encouraging on an attacking point of view. It's been defensively, though, for both teams that I think have really let them down just a tiny little bit. But I'm already seeing the importance of Aaron Ramsey within that Cardiff squad, and I do think Cardiff individually have more talented players 1 versus 1 against that Swansea team. Swansea at this moment of time look like they're still halfway through the transition from Russell Martin to Michael Duff ball. You really couldn't get anywhere different between these two styles of footballs, and I think it's going to take Swansea time, but I am seeing people are starting to grow a little bit restless already with Michael Duff, and I do think you do got to be very careful if you are going to try and chop and change, considering the transitional period that both, of the Swansea players are going to be going through. As a prediction here, I normally predict a low-scoring derby game, but actually the last couple I've seen between Cardiff and Swansea have actually contained quite a few goals. I'm going to edge, despite having a very bad record, I think Cardiff are going to be on the up here based on the individuals and their confidence going forward. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Cardiff. Why not? I think Cardiff could definitely get something here and potentially get revenge on Swansea after they did the double over them last year. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Final game to predict, guys, is Millwall versus Leeds. I am very intrigued of this one. This is going to be happening on, I believe, the Sunday, actually, which is very, very interesting. So, Millwall have actually managed to do okay within the start of the season, I think. Leeds, I think it's been a bit of a frustrating start for them. And I think what we saw, especially against Sheffield Wednesday, where they kind of camped 9 to 10 people behind the ball, Leeds have struggled to break teams down who are really going to defend. So that could be a bit of a problem with this Leeds side going forward. They need to be able to find a way not only to play their expressing football, but to also kind of mix it up within the really high defensive teams to try and break them down. Millwall have definitely got the options to hurt this Leeds side, and this just feels like a game where I think Millwall could potentially start quite well, and if they do, I think it's going to be very difficult for Leeds to get into it. So if Leeds score first, I think Leeds will win. But as a prediction here, I think Millwall will score first, and I think Millwall will score another. And I think it's going to be another situation where Leeds have to try and catch a comeback from conceding 2 goals. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Millwall. Probably another shocking result like Southampton Leicester, but again, I think you've got to sometimes go against what majority of people are going to be thinking, and I think Millwall are capable of getting a win here. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Millwall. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, that wraps it up for today within my score predictions. If you enjoyed, please smash the like button. 50 likes is the target, by the way. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not done so, as we're nearly at 2,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely amazing, guys, if we can finally get there. And please also share the channel too. All these things really do help the growth of this channel. It's good to be back. I'll be predicting match day 7 over the weekend. Stay tuned for more championship predictions. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.